May profits be upon you. Welcome to another weekly Forex forecast. This is part two of the of a two-part forecast, and I gave you in the first part the US dollar index, the euro, the pound, the Aussie dollar, and New Zealand dollar analysis. Okay. In this part, I'll be going over the Canadian dollar, the Swiss franc, and the Japanese yen. Okay. Make sure you go and check out the first part. All right, I already dropped it maybe an hour ago, and I'll leave a link at the end of this video or in the comment section, okay? Or in the description. All right, now we're going to look at the Canadian dollar. First thing we're going to look at is the Canadian futures. We're going to see, we're going to take a look and gauge the strength and weaknesses of the individual currency. Got it? Before we look at the actual pair with the US dollar. Now, first thing we're going to notice is that we're making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Each time we take a low, like this one here, you see price takes the low, sweeps the low, and then moves up, right? We come back down here, we took this low. What are we expecting then? We see what happened here. We might as well expect the same thing, or push back up. It's that simple. All right. After you take a low, you sweep the liquidity, the liquidity pool down there, the sell side liquidity. You're looking for a pullback from an exterior point of liquidity to an interior point of liquidity, right? So, and then back to an exterior. All right, which makes the lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. All right, this is the exterior. This is the interior. Back into inside of that leg of structure. Interior, exterior. We took the exterior. We're going back into the interior in this leg of structure, and then we take the low. That's exterior, and we are now pulling back. All right. Hope you can follow that. Pretty easy. All right. Now, let's take a closer look at that low. What we can see is that we had last month in February, it closed bullish. This is where you start to see the pullback start to happen. We see the continuation of that pullback here in March, right? And we still have 9 days before this month closes. So we got a little bit of a pullback in action. It's not a sharp, impulsive move, pullback. Looks like it may be corrective, but this was an important low, as this was the COVID low. Right, we took that low. I'm looking for price to work its way back up towards these lows. There is an imbalance candle here that I think price is definitely going to target. All right, but that's some time away. But this is forming the next area of supply, in my opinion, and it'll look like this. We just missed it here. All right, so I'm looking for price to pull back towards these highs, really. Okay, now let's take a look at the weekly. What do we see? Let's get rid of this. This is supposed to have been supply. I don't know why it didn't turn into supply. You can see that the price action has been wicky, and it's been consolidative, right? But you see how price closed here, and then we have a gap down, and then a close of that gap here. This forms an area of demand where the gap closes and then opens, and then the extension by way of the wick. All right, so this puts in the bottom of the demand zone. This puts in the top of it. And you see how price moved away, broke those highs. Why is that still there? Broke those highs here. Broke these highs here. All right. And then pulled back into this bullish leg of structure. But where did it pull back into? Right at the point where it forms the area of demand. All right. You see it bounced here, shows respect, and you see price kind of meandering back into this consolidation. Now, what am I looking for? I'm looking for a breakout at these highs, really. I'm not looking for price to continue lower. It could, but I think the probabilities are in my favor insofar as we see that price had a market structure shift here to the upside. That's not straight, to the upside, and then pull back. And I'm looking for price to continue higher, making a high, a higher low, and then a higher high. I'm looking for that higher high to come. All right. So on the daily, you can see that last week, this was Monday's candle. I was looking for price to break these highs, right, and push higher into this high where we have an area of supply. All right, price was there already, and then came close, leaving these relative equal highs up here. But price started to pull back, and what are we pulling back towards? I'm looking for price to take this low and maybe these lows. That's why I had that dotted line arrow there before it pushes up. This is the pullback into and the respect shown to this demand zone. I'm looking for price to pull up and continue up in this fashion. Could it go down? Yes, it could. It come down and sweep these lows, but I'm still expecting this demand zone to hold and to go higher in either case. All right, but we are in the middle of this trade, this range, and you don't want to be taking a position in the middle of it. All right, what I would suggest is this here. This is my Fibonacci. It's not, I'm using the Fibonacci tool, but I'm stretching it from the top to the bottom of the range, right? The top 25% and the bottom 25% of the range is where you want to take your shorts and your longs. So you can see how price reacts when it gets down to this area of the bottom 25%. And you see how it acts when it gets up here to the top 25%. All right, this is where I would take longs. This is where I would take shorts. I'm not interested in taking shorts in this market because I expect the US dollar to turn weak again sometime during the week. All right, so but for those more aggressive traders, you can take a short. You can take shorts if you want to. I'm waiting for longs, and there is an area to look for longs here from current pricing. If it takes a low before it goes up there, that's even better. But I'm waiting for a breakout of that range, this range. Okay, I'm waiting for a breakout of this range. This was a fake out. All right, this is, you see the consolidation. We sweep the lows, and then we sweep the highs, and then price comes back into the range. All right, we went right to the bottom of the range and then came back into the middle. I'm looking for price to break out to the upside, and I will wait patiently until it does so. We do have some buy side liquidity in the form of relative equal highs up here to draw price up that way. So I'm going to wait patiently, and that's what I would suggest. If we look at the US dollar CAD for those that trade on the with FX brokers, all right, it's not much different. You can see the breakout of this consolidation. You see the move up high, then the move down low to sweep the buy side and sell side liquidity, and then we're right back in the middle of it, going back and forth. I again would wait until price hits these lows, sweeps the low, or taps the low before I look for longs. All right, or wait until it breaks these highs here for price to pull back to, and I can ride it up from there. That's what I would suggest. But wait a minute now. I'm sorry. Hold on. I said that because I just came from the CAD, and it's the mirror image. So I'm looking for strength in the CAD to push up. I'm looking for price to move down here. I'm looking for price to pursue these lows. I'm sorry if I confused you. I'm looking for price to push out below the range low, pull back, and then I could ride it the same way, the opposite of the the CAD futures. I hope everybody gets that. I'm sorry if I confused you. Okay, so again, if this is your range, I'm waiting for price to break that range, pull back, take a high probability trade as it pulls back, and then I can take it down to these lows and possibly down to inside of these this consolidation here. That's it. Okay. Now we're going to move on. All right. The Swiss. All right. If we look at the Swiss, I took too long with that one. If we look at the Swiss, look at it on the weekly, you can see that we've been bearish, right? We pushed up, down, then back up into this supply zone, all right? But do I think that we're going to continue down? If I did, why didn't we take this low? If I thought that price was bearish, why didn't it sweep this low? All right, we left relative equal lows here. That's going to be a nice draw on price. But do I think the Swiss franc is weaker than the US dollar? No, I do not. No, I do not. So I am more interested in looking at what happens when price reaches this area of demand. There's a sell before the buy here, and that's what I'm keeping my eye on. Price's reaction to that. Yes, we're going to react to this area of demand. Supply down to this area of supply of demand, the opposing area of demand. But I think that we are going to find there is support here for higher prices. All right, because I expect some in the short term, some strength on the US dollar, but I do think that it'll turn bearish this week. Let's just take a real quick peek at it. Uh-oh. Didn't mean to do that. Come on, man. Get out of here. Get! All right, now, you see how there's a bearish fair value gap here, both on the weekly and the daily. And price is pushing up into that. I'm looking for price to fall from that. All right, I'm looking for this market to use that to reach lower prices. So if we go back to the Swiss, that would mean the US dollar would bring it down to this demand zone. But I'm looking for a price to find strength with a weaker US dollar against a weaker US dollar and the stronger Swiss. So this high is what I'm keeping my eye on. This is the protected high that's in supply. I'm looking for price to quite possibly overtake it and disrespect this supply zone. We shall see. As long as price stays above this low, let me clean this up a little bit. As long as price stays below, is above this high, this low here. I'm sorry. I'm looking for longs once price reaches this demand zone. Well, I'm looking for long setups anyway. I'm going to be patient. I'm not just going to jump in anything. If we look at the daily, you can see how price is double topped up here. And I'm looking at the reaction to this supply zone. I'm looking for this. Boom, 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 boom. That's it. That's it on the daily. Waiting for price to patiently pull back into this demand zone. If we go to the we go to US dollar Swiss, I'm looking for exactly the opposite. There's a weekly fair value gap here on the US dollar Swiss, folks. For those that trade with FX brokers, there's a weekly, come on, man. Oh boy. A weekly fair value gap here, right? And we haven't tapped into it last week. I thought we would. It seems the market was a little a little weaker than I thought. I'm looking for price to find that temporary strength by way of the US dollar and then fall from there. I'm looking for price to come into these lows here for sell side liquidity. Got it? Now we're going to take a look at the yen. All right, the yen, if we look at the monthly, we can see it's been bearish. All right, that's no mystery. I got random lines just popping up all over the place. All right, so if we go low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, aha, lower high, right? We've just been heading down. All right, but the last two and a half months, we've seen price moving up. You know that the BOJ has been solidifying their economy over there, and they raise interest rates, and they are trying to bring the value up. Also, there's the safe haven that everybody in the world runs to. This is the number one safe haven of the world, the US dollar being the number two. Right, in the environments where there is tension in global geopolitical situations around the world, like the Middle East and Russia and Ukraine and oil prices and all. They go to the Japanese yen before they go to the US dollar, and the US dollar underperforms in this market against the Japanese yen. Okay, so what do we got? We got bullishness here, right? And this month has not finished yet, but it looks like we are developing a bullish fair value gap. That's a potential. That's a potential. I'm just letting you know that there's some what do you call it? Momentum to the upside. Now, let's go to the weekly. What do we see? All right. Notice how this is like the Swiss. We have a low, a pushback, a push up, push down. All right. Low, lower high, lower low. And then price is heading towards that high. We took that high a couple of weeks ago. Right. Sweat that high. That is a bullish indication. All right. It's not like we traded through it, though. We haven't traded through that high, but we did tap that high. So we're looking for price to pull back into an area where it could find support. There is a demand zone here, and price has pulled back into it 2 candles deep, right? Could it use it could we find higher prices from here? Well, we're going to take a closer look on the daily. All right, and what do we see? You see that price is a little wicky, but what we see is there is an area of supply here, and price ran into it, all right, and responded to it. We're reacting to it, to the downside, right? Do I expect the price, the Japanese yen, to continue to fall? No, I don't. I actually do not. I'm looking for price to turn around until it takes this high, until it takes this protected high of this supply zone. All right, I'm going to hold off on looking for longs. Once it takes that high, that protected high, which is a very bullish indication, I'm looking forward to come and take those that buy side liquidity up there. You understand? All right, now. We've already taken the previous low. That's a bearish indication, but you see price pull back into that supply zone, and we responded to it. There's some wicks going on here. Are we going to go lower and then go higher? I don't know. This low seems to be pretty protected. We have a sell before the buy here. I'm looking for price to turn around at this point, but I'm not jumping into anything. I'm just bullish on this market, So I'm looking for that. All right. And if we go to the US dollar Japanese yen, you see I'm looking for just the opposite. Right. All right. We have supply here. We have a weekly fair value gap here. I'm looking for price to use those for lower prices. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next one.